Hi and welcome for a new video. In this video, I am doing an unboxing of a Moto G24 Power. It's an entry-level Motorola smartphone and costs under 10,000 rupees. The main emphasis of this entry-level phone is its battery power. This smartphone has a battery of 6000 mAh and comes with a super fast battery charger of 33 watts. The charger is actually included in the box, unlike Samsung and other smartphones. They no longer provide charger with the box. You have to buy it separately. The amount of RAM in the smartphone is 4 GB. This can be expanded virtually up to 8 GB. This is actually done by using the internal memory of the phone. I will discuss all these features one by one when I'm done unboxing this phone. One more thing is that it also comes in a 8 GB variant. I went with a 4 GB variant because I had a lot of smartphones with 4 GB, and I think 4 GB is enough for a smartphone of entry level. Going forward, if we look at the back of the smartphone, we will get to see that they have mentioned the specs. They have mentioned the amount of camera, they have mentioned the amount of battery, and they have also mentioned the RAM that this smartphone has. I have already talked about these things in the beginning of the video itself. I will discuss them one by one later, and the box here is sealed on 3 sides. Let us now cut all these 3 seals so that we can finally see the smartphone. First, let's flip the box and remove the top lid of the smartphone box. As soon as the top lid is removed, we get to see the smartphone. It is fitted with a silicone case in the box itself. It also has a plastic protective film on top with specifications written on them. We have already discussed these specifications while looking at the back of the phone box. The battery capacity, the charging speed, the amount of RAM, and few key specs are printed over it. In order to see what else is in the box, we will have to keep this smartphone aside. We will revisit the phone in a while. The remaining items in the box are charger, Type-C cable. It also had user manual and a SIM card removal tool. It's a big charger given its capacity. Near the pins, the wattage and the volts are mentioned. It is always good to have a separate charger with the phone. I do not like it when a smartphone does not come accompanied with its own charger. It adds cost of buying the charger and it is a hassle. Now onto the smartphone itself. This Moto G24 Power has a silicone back cover. Let us remove this back cover now. Now that the back cover is off the phone, we can clearly see how the phone looks like. The back finish is smooth and it has shiny grains. It may or may not be visible to you in the video, but I am able to see them with my eyes. From the front of the smartphone, let us remove this plastic film with specifications written on it. This is a bezel-less smartphone. All smartphones these days actually have no bezels. This has been the case since last 5 years. The smartphone 5 years back had bezels, and there was advantage to that, and there was a disadvantage also for that future. And now that we have bezel-less phones, they also have some advantages and disadvantages. It actually calls for a complete separate video. Before doing the first boot of the Moto G24 Power, let us look at the various different components of this particular smartphone. On the right side of the smartphone, we have volume rockers and power buttons with a fingerprint sensor on it. This smartphone, this particular Moto G24 Power, has some thickness to it. The sides are slightly chamfered to avoid giving edgy feeling in it. They are not fully chamfered or roundy edges. It's like a box or a cardboard like feeling. On the top side of the smartphone, we have a 3.5 mm jack. There is also a logo embedded on the body for Dolby Atmos. On the left side of the Motorola Moto G24 Power, we have a SIM card tray. We will see how to insert both SIM cards and SD card in a separate video. On the bottom side of the smartphone, we have from left to right a Dolby Atmos speaker set, USB Type-C female, and a microphone. On the back of the smartphone, we have two sets of cameras. One is a 50 megapixel camera, and another one is a 2 megapixel macro camera. It is now time to see software part and performance part of this smartphone. I have now pressed the power button on the phone. This is now booting. I expect it to take less time to boot. It took about 30 to 35 seconds to boot this Motorola Moto G24 Power. I want to skip the first boot up so that I can head straight to the performance overview. While I was booting the device asked me to choose a navigation style. I chose to go with both rather than go with gestures or buttons. I also chose to keep the glance turned on. It is a news app that shows trending news on top of lock screen. Now there it is, the smartphone is now turned on and you can see the display. The display is 6.6 inches with a resolution of 720 into 1612 pixels. It is an IPS LCD display with a refresh rate of 90 Hz. The display is crisp and clear. The icons are crisp and clear. Basically, what I can say is that the display is not heavy on eyes. It's workable. It is not like those flagship phones, but it is still better. All Motorola smartphones come with a stock Android with only minor adjustments to the UI. The opening of the folder, navigation, toggling between the screen, all of that looks smooth. It is as smooth as it should be for a smartphone that comes under rupees 10,000. In fact, I have had used many smartphones under this price range which were older, and I have seen that they used to be very slow. But this time around, the smartphones that are coming under 10,000 rupees are fast enough to look like they are of around rupees 25,000. Since it is a stock Android, these are all the limited apps that are there on this Moto G24 Power. The phone comes with mostly Google apps, with only one exception, and that is Facebook. Now let us go to the settings and see the various functions and options. As soon as you open, you will see these various settings. The first settings, as always, will be network and internet, followed by connected devices. Right off the box, this phone has 66% of battery. It could vary from device to device, but this device had 66% of battery. The Moto G24 Power has a storage space of 128 GB, and out of this, only 108 GB of storage is free. Rest is used by the operating system. This phone also provides you with parental control. Here you can control the screen time, app time, and the bedtime schedule. This, I think, is actually one of the main and most required feature in any smartphone that is being launched these days. Moving on, this is the hardware information of the phone. We have already discussed this in the beginning of the video itself, so I think just a glance is enough and we can proceed with the other aspects. Moving on, let us look at the drop-down menu. This drop-down menu is customizable. The first screen provides you with shortcuts to Wi-Fi, mobile data, Bluetooth, and some others. The second screen has these options like battery saver, a toggle for Dolby Atmos, an option to record screen, and various other options like QR code scanner and screencast. The third screen has options to allow or to stop access to camera, check privacy status, and also provide you with shortcuts to system update. The drop-down menu also gives a shortcut to settings and power button. You can use this to shut down your smartphone. Now let us have a tour of the Moto G24 Power. Moto G24 Power comes with a stock Android camera app which has a minimal feature, and since it is a stock Android, it always comes with the stock camera. The camera app from left to right of the device has following options. The first option is to turn the flash on or off. Then secondly, you have option to set the flash on auto. This option is followed by a HDR feature. The fourth option from left to right is for setting aspect ratio. The last option here is for settings for camera. Then from bottom left to right we have option for capturing slow motion. The second option is for recording video. Here let us go to the settings now. Here you have option for rear photo resolution and also for setting front photo resolution. From here you can also choose to have a selfie photo meter. Here in the setting we can do a lot, but for now let us go back and see what we have in the camera. Again, from bottom left to right we have photo mode. Just like video mode, this also has option for macro photography. You can choose the macro option in the video also. This photo mode is followed by a portrait mode. This is then followed by a pro mode. Pro mode is for professional photographers. It's for those who know how to handle manual settings in photo and videography. I will give you the details of all this in my camera review. Lastly, we have this more option. This is for a panorama, time lapse and for night vision. Now that the unboxing and overview of Moto G24 Power is done, I would like to share certain points here before concluding the video. First, in conclusion, I want to talk about the design of the smartphone. These days, almost every smartphone is being designed beautifully. Even the entry-level smartphones are designed in a way that they look premium. Even though the phone has a plastic body, it has a good build quality. These two large cameras here are adding to the beauty of the Moto G24 Power. Now, while talking about the camera, I want to make this clear that the main lenses of the phone are small and of same size as any other smartphone camera. One more thing is that other Motorola smartphones have detachable camera components. Many Motorola smartphone users, including me, faced some problems because of this detachable camera components. It is a good thing that this camera in particular is integrated with the back panel of this phone. Here I am referring to the camera cover, not the lenses. The camera cover is actually integrated with the back cover itself. Because of the huge battery, it looks like the phone has some weight to it. Also, some thickness too. The next thing that I want to discuss here is performance. The initial boot time was good. The navigation, the toggling are all good. Even though I bought only a 4GB variant, it looks like this is enough. I mean, this much of RAM is enough. This is what I think. In fact, I think it is more than enough. 8GB variant here doesn't feel required. During initial use, the camera felt good. It is actually very similar to other smartphone cameras in this particular price range. In fact, I can say is that it is even better than its competition. I took some low light photos with the smartphone camera. For example, this photo. It was taken at night of a construction site. As you can see, it is very good for a smartphone that costs this much. There is another photo. Again, this is of the same area, but it was taken early morning. I took other photos and looking at them, I can say that the camera is good for this price. So all in all, this phone, Moto G24 Power in particular, is definitely worth buying and not skippable if you are someone who buys smartphones in the range of rupees 10,000.